I just saw again that our daycare went up. I have 2 kids that are getting older, so it should be going down. But the price just had another increase. It's to the point to where it's cheaper for me to just stay at home. My whole check is going to the daycare. Our daycare cost is a couple $100s cheaper than our mortgage. I truly don't understand how people are making it. It stresses me out. We don't live above our means. I mean, we literally take care of everything. We work 2 full-time jobs. Like, how are people doing it? Do we need to go get another job? Like, I don't know. I'm stressed out. I don't know how we're going to afford to have an increase. And if it's increasing now, is it going to increase again? Because we just had an increase a couple of months ago. I don't know. I don't know how other people are doing it. If you have suggestions, please let me know, because at this point, I'm wondering if it's just cheaper for me to stay home with them and not work at all, since my whole check is going to daycare.
How are we surviving in this economy?
No.
How? Please. Like, okay. I just feel like I need to come on here and really show what it's like trying to survive as a single income family. Okay, we live in Nebraska. I can't work because I can't afford childcare. Childcare is gonna cost more for my 3 kids than what I'm gonna make a month. Everything I've looked at, $3,000 a month for my 3 kids to go to daycare. I'd be lucky to make $2,500 a month, and that's pushing it. We can't afford our rent. Thank God that we have landlords that are extremely understanding. But how are we doing this? I mean, literally, my husband's next paycheck and what we have in the bank right now is gonna go to rent, and it's gonna leave us with literally zero. Zero. No money.
Mommy, why were you crying?
What? How are we doing this? What happened to our world? I'm a 22-year-old mom who's currently worried about losing her house and her car because we can't afford it. I'm not trying to make my kids homeless. I know I have family that is going to help us in any way possible, and I'm more than thankful for that, but what are we doing? How are we doing this? How are we living? How are we surviving?
Is it just me, bro, or does it feel like making more money doesn't even matter anymore? You know what I mean? Like, I remember making $10 an hour, bro, and I used to be like, you know what? If I was only making 20, I would be okay in life, right? I would be fine. And then I started making 20, and it was the exact same shit, bro. I was stuck in the exact same rut. And I was like, you know what? If I was only making $30 an hour, give me 30. And fast forward to today, I'm making well over 40, and I am still in the same exact position that I was when I was making $10 an hour. And I'm starting to really feel like, you know what? It doesn't matter how much money you make anymore, because the way the system's designed, you're always going to feel like you're running in place.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. The way things look now, I don't think kids are going to be able to move out anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, you know how they always be like, oh, when you're 18, you got to get out, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell my kids, y'all can stay as long as y'all want. You know, save your money. I don't want y'all living paycheck to paycheck and shit like that. You know, stack your bread. If you want to get married, have a family, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Because the way things look now for us, imagine how it is going to be for them. Hopefully things get better. But even still, like, you know, regardless, they can stay with me as long as they want, get their bread up, you know, stack their money up, because I don't want them out here living paycheck to paycheck, man. You know what I mean? And if I give tips to any parents, man, don't try to kick them out when they're 18. Let them stay, let them get their money up and all that. Let them get right. Don't just be like, oh, you're 18, you got to go, because it's rough out here, you know. Anyway, just want to make a video. Peace.
I don't think the older generations fully understand what the newer generations are navigating. I mean, the generations that are stepping into adulthood right now. We are not living in the same world that we were raised to prepare for. Jobs don't function the same. Housing isn't the same. Cost of living isn't the same. The way you build a life is not the same blueprint anymore. And yet so many conversations still sound like the old blueprint still applies. So when younger adults try to move differently, think differently, survive differently, it gets labeled as them being the problem. But a lot of us are just trying to adapt to a system that no longer looks like it used to. I don't think it's necessarily about one generation being right or one generation being wrong. I think it's about realizing that the world shifted faster than the conversations around it did. And until we're honest about that, we're all going to keep talking past each other.
Is the world just crazy to everybody else? Like now me and my wife are having more kids, so we're looking for a car with more seats for her. I'm looking at used Chevy Tahoes. I'm talking like a 5-6-year-old Chevy Tahoe with like 50 to 100,000 miles. They want like 40, 50 grand for these things. How did things get so out of control? I'm talking a Chevy Tahoe. We're not talking some fancy Mercedes or BMW, like a used Chevy SUV with like 100,000 miles, and people want that kind of money. Now when I see like a normal ass SUV, a freaking Chevy on the road, I'm like, wow, what do these rich people do? Like, what? I remember when new cars were like 20, 30 grand. Now used ones are 50. Like, what the f?
So today I had an appointment with my financial advisor. We were going over my expenses, and when I say expenses, I mean just my bills. Like what I have to pay to live a sustainable life in America. I don't live in like a super fancy house. I mean, it's nice. It does its job. It's updated. Okay, whatever. 4 bedrooms. A little over 200 square feet. So like whatever. Okay, so nothing crazy though. I have Verizon for my phone carrier. Whatever. NIPSCO, power, you know, I have my water bill, everything. So we took how much my bills are every month, okay, and we times it by 12 to figure out how much a year in bills are you paying versus how much money you are making. Because I was complaining to him, I was like, I feel like I can't save a bunch of money that I want to. I want to take these trips, but I just can't. I don't use credit cards for large purchases. I'm not down for that. I am one to believe in, if I don't have it right now in my bank account, I'm not going to spend it. My bills for a year is $89,000. Okay, so my income, what do I make for my income? Last year I cleared 6 figures, but I made around like $107,000. Okay, I'm making $107,000, but my bills alone, that does not include my gas, my grocery bill, literally any little spending here and there, like no extracurriculars, nothing, was $89,000. So that gives me about, I don't know, do the math. To me, not a whole lot of extra money that it's just mine to either invest, to save, to go on trips, to do something. Like, what? I am a registered nurse, okay? So like, I thought, oh my God, I cannot wait to make 6 figures one day. Okay, 6 figures in America now in this economy, you're poor. You're poor. So my initial question to him was, how can I not do everything I want to do and buy these things that I want to buy? Like, I can, but then I know like I'll be in a hole. And he's like, well, because your bills are $89,000 a year and you're only making $105,000. And I'm like, I'm a travel nurse, so I'm optimizing my income as best as I can, because being a staff nurse, you make way less money than that. I mean, you can make $100,000 as a staff nurse, but you, 1, have to get paid well, and 2, work a lot. And I only like to work my 3 allotted 12-hour shifts. That's it. I want to live my life as well. I don't know. I also have 3 children, okay? And those children are very expensive. So it's like, that $89,000 isn't even on top of what I'm paying for my children. on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. It's crazy. It's crazy. We either need to be paid more as a collective, everyone does, or things need to like go down, because it's a slave society that we live in America, and I'm over it. So if you catch me in a different country, maybe like Europe or something, don't be surprised.
Fun fact, since 1913, the US dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. That means what $1 could buy back then now takes over $30 to buy today. Still think you're not being ripped off? And people still wonder why everyone feels financially crushed. Central banks globally have been robbing from you since the day you were born, not with pews, not by emptying your bank account overnight, but slowly through inflation and currency debasement. And most people think inflation is just prices going up. No, inflation is your money losing purchasing power, your labor, your savings, your time. And every time new money is created out of thin air through debt, bailout, stimulus, or central banking policy, the value of your existing money gets diluted, meaning you work the exact same hours, but your paycheck buys less every single year or every single month. Your grandparents could often buy a home on one income, raise their kids, save money, retire comfortably, but now two incomes can barely survive rent, groceries, insurance, and debt. And they'll tell you this is normal. And since the Fed was created in 1913, the dollar has lost 97% of its value. So if you feel like you're running faster but getting nowhere, that's not an illusion. The system is literally designed around perpetual inflation and perpetual debt. We have a debt-based currency. The biggest theft in modern history didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly enough that generations accepted it as normal. And once you understand money, you start understanding why everything feels harder no matter how much people work.
This is crazy. $4.20 for a soda. A large orange juice. $4.39 for a slice of toast. Oh my god. This is insane. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Seriously, do you see these prices? $8.99 a pound. Are you kidding me right now? Look at this. And then you come over to the cake and it's buy one, get one free. No wonder why people aren't buying fruit and vegetables.
The grocery store is killing me today. Look at this. Who is paying $10.49 for this, bro? On sale? You need help if you're paying $12.99, bro. It can't be that good. Is there gold in it?
Yeah, so I just came from Dunkin', right? Got 2 donuts. Just 2 donuts. And the price that came up on the screen when it came to pay, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it to the point where I actually mentioned to the cashier, really nice lady, that I remember when we could have got 1 donut for 50 cents. I remember vividly it going up from 50 cents to 59 cents. So my question to you, Duncan, did the cost of making a donut go up 5-6x for the last 10, 15 years? Because I'm not understanding. And then what made it worse is that you asked me if I wanted to leave a tip after. What am I tipping y'all for? And this is the stuff that we got to start addressing, because these major corporations are trying to make people feel guilty for not tipping when you're not giving me anything. I just came in to buy a donut.
We have hit the days where Aldi has become unaffordable. Like, I just paid $3.55 for black pepper. That's regular grocery store prices. I don't understand.
You guys want to know how I know everybody is broke right now? Because it's a Sunday morning and I live in Southern California, and I called and ordered to go at a brunch place, and I just got here and there was plenty of parking. No one has money.
You know, I'm not here to compare my situation to anybody else's situation, because at the end of the day, we are all struggling, especially in this economy. And although my situation is not as worse as anybody else's, it still is a struggle. So again, it's not about the comparison, because in this economy, the overwhelming majority of us working class people are struggling. And I am one of the millions of healthcare workers who's living paycheck to paycheck. want to give clarity on a couple of things. You can make a lot of money in healthcare, but it comes at a cost. I wanted to hop in and be a part of the conversation that Casanova started about truthful disclosure about your finances in this economy. Some of y'all gonna be like, you make good money. I do. But when I look at my check as a healthcare worker, I'm lucky if I get half my check after federal taxes have been taken out, after state taxes have been taken out, after my retirement has been taken out, after all of the shit that they charge me a la carte on my insurance, my vision, my supplemental disability. I barely get a little bit more than half my check. And it's a lot of people in healthcare that make well above minimum wage like I do that are still living paycheck to paycheck. And I'll be very honest. I owe the IRS about $20,000 in back taxes, almost $20,000 in back taxes that I give them a payment for every month. I have credit card debt. I have a car note, and I still have a small balance on my student loans, but it's still debt. I live in DC, and living in DC is not cheap, and I make well above minimum wage. And even though I'm not struggling to pay my rent, and the only reason why I'm not struggling to pay my rent is because I took my time to find something that I knew I could pay without struggling. But I don't live in a luxury apartment. I don't live in no extremely safe, nice, clean neighborhood. The neighborhood that I just moved to is pretty decent. My apartment is more than decent, and my rent is only $12.50 in DC, but Southeast DC. That comes at a cost. And the only reason why I'm saying all this is because with all the stuff that we are being taxed on, the cost of living, it's crazy. And I see why people crash out. Because you got to go to work and you have to put up with all the frustrations of dealing with what you have to deal with at your job. And then when you get your check, the overwhelming majority, if not all of your check, goes to bills, meaning cost of living. And I have definitely made my mistakes when it comes to my financial literacy has not been the best, like most Americans. So to all you that want to get on here and try to be like, oh, you should know better, the overwhelming majority of Americans don't have good financial literacy. That's why so many of us are in debt. But that still doesn't mean that the cost of living does not need to be addressed. Because I work hard for what I have. Like right now, I got a stack of tickets that I haven't paid because I don't have the money for it right now. Every time I turn around, I get a ticket in the mail. Even is that the cost of living isn't just your rent. It's gas. It's the cost of living. It's the cost that you have to pay if you take public transportation. Insurance is sky high in DC because you don't have a lot of parking spaces in DC. So you have to park on the street and they tax stuff out of you for, regardless of if you have a good record or a driving record. And I don't have a bad driving record. I don't. But like I said, I got a stack of tickets that they keep sending me. And the tickets that they sending me ain't $20 or $30. $70, $100, $150. And then if you don't pay them in 30 days, they double it. In this economy. And at the end of the day, they still have systems in place to keep you down even when you make good money. So like I say, even though my struggle is not as bad as some people, it still is a struggle. And at the end of the day, our system is broken and it needs to be fixed. That's it. That's all. Bye.